A man purchases a new home. Then he feels compelled to excavate in his backyard. Numerous police units were stationed along a riverside and a nearby farmer's backyard, and the sound of their sirens could be heard everywhere. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. What appeared in front of their eyes was something that initially defied explanation, something that a farmer on a casual stroll in his lawn had found so unexpectedly. This morning began as any other day for that farmer, Jose. As the sun shone over his new Buenos Aires residence, Jose Antonio Nieves, a farmer, chose to take his dog on a walk in his backyard on Christmas Day. He would have the opportunity to explore the streams and riverbanks on the acres of property that came with the farm. Thus, he unlocked his rear entrance and departed. Jose had no idea that he was going to create history. As he strolled along his dog down the riverbank, Jose abruptly became aware of something odd stuck in the bank by the murky water. It appeared to be an enormous black egg. Jose came to a halt. What was it specifically? A strange feeling of interest crept into him. Something in his gut was prompting him to investigate more. Jose saw that the unusual thing was entirely coated in mud when he drew nearer to it. He made the decision to try to dig it out, and as he dug, the object's actual size gradually became apparent. It was 3 feet broad, too large to be an egg of any sort. So what was it specifically? Jose, wiping perspiration from his brow, had been working on this thing for the better part of 15 minutes. It was sticking to the muddy riverbanks, and he was struggling to get it out. He sighed and turned to face his dog, realizing he was going to need more hands to assist him figure out what this thing was. Calling his spouse for assistance, Jose revealed to her that he had discovered an enormous black egg that appeared to have sprung from a dinosaur. Speechless, his wife laughed back, acknowledging she didn't think he was serious and assumed it was a joke. However, they quickly realized that this was no jest. When Jose's wife arrived at the riverside, she was speechless at what she saw. Anxious to learn more, she helped Jose remove the enigmatic object from the ground while taking care not to harm it. But in spite of everything they had tried, the couple groaned as they looked at one another and realized they needed help. When Jose called 911 to report his find in his backyard, he thought they would take him seriously. However, such incidents are uncommon in a tiny town such as Carlos Begas Ini. When the police spoke with Jose, they initially assumed he was kidding and that the call was simply another hoax from some bored kids. However, this was no practical joke. The police agreed to come look at the object after Jose convinced them to do so. Hundreds of locals were gathering along the riverside when they arrived. While the locals were taking photos, Jose's dog began to investigate the area, anxious to have a closer look at this strange thing. Jose had no idea that his dog will soon contribute to the inquiry. The inquisitive dog began to bark and growl close to the large, strange item as he sniffed about, wagging his tail. What had the dog Jose had been following found? Jose and the others in the throng were enticed by the Bauer Comedia. They were aware that more action and the involvement of specialists were required. In an attempt to provide some explanation for the peculiar find, the police decided to bring in local archaeologists due to the high level of stress and unanswered concerns. Upon their arrival, the 2 archaeologists concluded that this item was, in fact, a remnant of antiquity. Full of anticipation, they were certain that today would be unforgettable, and boy, were they correct. With assistance from the 2 archaeologists, the item was dug out of the riverbed and the muck was removed. There seemed to be a shimmering green structure on it, resembling scales. They discovered how massive and hefty this weird thing was when they made an attempt to dig further. After a few hours, stumbling about in the viscous, dirty water under the intense sun, at last, the team managed to retrieve the relic. They carefully placed it into the vehicle and drove it back to the lab. They had no idea that they were going to learn some amazing facts. The archaeologists examined the odd shell-like form of the item by subjecting it to a battery of tests in the lab. It took a while, but eventually they declared the 2-ton item to be recognized. However, it was neither a stone nor an object from space. They had an explanation at last. As it turned out, this odd thing was in fact the glyptodont. an ancient beast, in the form of a shell or armor. The revelation had the scientists and researchers giddy with anticipation. Finally, a response. Others, however, would not share their enthusiasm, as they soon discovered. Experts voiced their misgivings after learning of the finding and said it had been a premeditated deception. Many experts acknowledged that they were at a loss for rational, tangible explanations, leaving them to wonder how the shell managed to survive in such excellent shape and in an upright position. However, this finding was not a fake. Researchers claim that glyptodonts dominated South America about 10,000 years ago. These creatures had similarities with a Volkswagen Beetle in terms of appearance and weight. Jose, the farmer who found the shell initially, was still unsure, though. Professor of Science Lister refuted the allegations that this find was a fraud, saying that the shell appeared to be a real glyptodont shell. Jose was relieved that it had been properly recognized, but he was still curious as to why and how long it had been in his property. It is believed that glyptodonts first appeared and developed in South America, where they inhabited for tens of millions of years. Uruguay, Argentina, and Brazil have traditionally been the locations of their remains. However, one thing continued to stump scientists. Scientists studying the shell discovered that the opening for the head was located in a different location from the one for the tail. Scientists asserted that the hole did not appear to be the result of a battle, suggesting that other causes may have contributed to the damage, potentially most recently. The enormous fossil, which measured almost 3 feet, was discovered on the property. Paleontologists have calculated that the shell, however, belonged to a young glyptodont. When fully grown, the species' maximum height is 11 feet. Even now, Jose finds it hard to believe what he happened across while taking a casual stroll in his garden. When he first saw the shell, he was filled with curiosity and doubt that he will never be able to get rid of. It is going to be a memory that he will always cherish. The idea that these massive, hefty creatures ever roamed the planet is fairly amazing. And it's because of this farmer's surprising discovery of the glyptodont that researchers across the globe have learned more about this mysterious beast. It only goes to demonstrate how many mysteries there are on Earth just waiting to be solved. Who knows, maybe you'll find one the next time you go for a leisurely stroll in your garden. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.